Good afternoon. I'm sitting here next to my lilac tree and it smells awesome. There's a nice breeze and it was a really fulfilling day. And I'm sitting just relaxing and just absorbing everything that is around me and in my environment, and being grateful for everything I have, but mostly being grateful that I have made decisions to leave what wasn't going well in my life in the past, and that had I stayed where I was, I wouldn't be sitting here having the life that I have. And the life that I have has ups and downs just like everybody else. I've said that many times. I'm not spared from anything at all. However, I'm trying to think about what my life would have been like had I stayed in the environment that I was in before. So, I've made changes in terms of my relationship. Where I ended my relationship, I just wasn't happy. And I felt very guilty about that. I've mentioned that in the past. So I don't know if you guys have seen my previous messages, but I think it's important to really remind you all that when we're not happy, that we can't feel guilty or have shame or anything like that. It's our gut that's really telling us that there's something not working in the choices that we made and the people that we surround ourselves with, and perhaps in the career path or the work we're doing, and with some lifestyles that we're living that may not be in our best interest, and it's not feeling well. So I'm super grateful that I got the courage years ago to leave the relationship that I had, that I wasn't happy in, and the growth, the personal spiritual growth that I've gained through that, and also more importantly, leaving the job that I just wasn't happy in. I just wasn't motivated anymore. If you have a job that you're not motivated, and believe me, I had a really good salary coming in, and leaving that was very scary. But if you're not happy, and it's almost like working the streets, that you get to a point where you're not feeling satisfaction in the work you're doing, you're not feeling appreciated by the people that you're with, and you're just it's very heavy for you to go to work and to wake up in the morning, and the weekend go by, and then it's Sunday and you're thinking, oh fudge, I need to go to work tomorrow, I need to have a full week. And then you're at work and you're looking at the time and it's 7 o'clock and you're thinking, man, I've got to tough it out until 11:30. And then you go to lunch and you come back and it's, man, I gotta tough this afternoon until 4. And then it's only Monday that's passed and you got 4 more days to go. That's just not the kind of life that you want to have. We spend most of our days at work, and for sure there are some things that we may lose in leaving our work. However, if this is the feeling that you carry with you every day, I'm saying to you, check out on what you can do and how you can live a better life. It could be a relationship, leaving a relationship that just isn't right for you, or you grew out of. People change, and it's unfortunate and so on. And years ago, people stayed together because you had to stay together. It was just not well seen. Well, nowadays, it's not that we want to be selfish, but we want to make sure that we live our lives in the best way possible that will be giving us some kind or some level of happiness, no matter what people think or no matter what people say. And so, I recall when I got married because my parents were very religious and I just couldn't shack up with my boyfriend. That was not to be done and not to be even considered. So I got married because I had to get married. I couldn't find the strength to leave him, although my gut said that we just were not a match. So I got married and I got a son, and lived through all that, and it was hard to leave. I was filled with shame and guilt. And I built the courage to leave that relationship, right? And to start over again. However, with me, you know, the belief system that I had, and the way I was brought up was, I went back to the pattern on how I was brought up. And I went and found partners that were not completely accepting me fully. And I couldn't be myself. And I was thinking, geez, you know, I really like me. I don't know why I can't find someone else who likes me. But and my parents, it's not that they didn't love me or like me. It's just I was different. They weren't ready for how I was. First of all, mom and dad, mom got pregnant when on her nuptial night. And so I came 9 months later and mom wasn't ready at all for me. So, you know, I understand that of my parents, and I understand that of mom and how much it must have been hard, because she had to move away from her mom in another town, and she was all on her own. She didn't know anybody and all that. It was really tough for her. So she did what she could, but the way that I was just wasn't the way she was. And she was trying to bring me up the way that she had been brought up, and it wasn't working for me, right? So I always felt that I was not good enough for mom and dad. Not dad, more mom. And so I kept on finding partners that made me feel the same all the time. And so until I suddenly realized I had a pattern and I needed to resolve a few things with myself before I was really able to move on and seek happiness in my life. And so it required a lot of work on myself and personal growth and so on. And I was able to make some changes and see that I'm not stuck in any way, shape, or form into any situation, in any lifestyle, in any life pattern, and I can change. Change is hard, but it requires action, right? So you need to take action to be able to change your life. There's nothing that is going to be happening for you if you don't do the work. So doing the work is very important, and that it be in a relationship, that it be at work, that it be with people, a social environment that, you know, no longer matches or resonates with you. Make changes, and you're completely entitled to make changes to ensure your happiness. So as I'm sitting here and I'm looking at, you know, where I'm at and what I'm doing, I'm so grateful that I got the courage to make the changes in my life that I wanted to make and I needed to be making, because I don't know what kind of life I would have. I'd still be frustrated. I'd be unhappy. I'd be showing my kids a really wrong message that you don't have options in your life, which you do. But it requires strength, courage, and motivation. And so here I am talking again about, you know, doing the work and transitioning. If you want to transition and have personal growth, spiritual growth, or growth at any point, and it's through transitions which are very uncomfortable that you gain that experience. So you're never too late to do anything. It's never too late. I recall this woman that I stayed at, and she just packed up her stuff and moved. She was in her late 40s and had never worked, gained her knowledge of secretarial work, legal secretary, and she worked for years and she established her own home. She was way older than me, and the years that she lived happy in her own home and changed her life. So she was such a motivator for me, and understanding that there is no age to make changes. So don't stay in a situation that you're unhappy with. And you can create all the scenarios that you want to convince yourself that, oh my God, out there is so scary, and you don't have options and you don't have any choice. You always have options. Believe me, you always have them. It depends on your way of thinking. If you're open to plunge into something new. And believe me, it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile, and if it doesn't give you the success that you want, at least it will give you the experience that you need, and you will not regret it. You will regret when you get to a point in your life and then you're rocking in your chair, or you're sick or something, and then you're asking yourself, or you're telling yourself, I should have, and you're asking yourself, I wonder what it would have been like had I ... right? So my little spiel of today, make yourself happy, do the changes that you need to be making, and it takes action. It takes courage and action, but if I could do it, you can do it as well. Okay? Happy Monday and happy transition.